So it's come to my attention that I've amassed 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, which seems to be quite a big deal. To celebrate, I thought I'd do a Q&A because it's really easy, low effort content. Let's go. I requested questions from you guys via Instagram, Twitter and YouTube, so we'll go through a few of them now, starting off with one from Twitter, from Seamus. Seamus asks, who would be your dream YouTube collaboration? I think probably Casey Neistat. I think he's the best at it. The one I'm most excited when I see a video. I think they're so well put together. I think the as well as the filming techniques, the storytelling, and everything he does. I think he's an inspiration for making things interesting, whether or not they should be by rights. So yeah, I think Casey Neistat would be the dream collab. Jess Lane asks, genuine question, have you ever thought about writing a book? I bet you've got a good few stories. I'm not sure there's a market for a Robbie Knox autobiography currently. And I think it's a lot of effort to write a book. I might do it at some stage because I like doing lots of different things, but I've not got a desperate desire to write anything at the minute. Maybe one day. United Ewan asks, well done Robbie, if you go for a pint with 4 celebrities, who would they be and why? You got to be careful with these things. It's just like the dinner date questions that people ask. People always say like, oh, I'd go on a dinner date with like Barack Obama and Will Smith and Gandhi or stuff like that. But realistically, if you're there with Will Smith, Barack Obama and Gandhi, they're not going to be talking to you. They're going to be talking to everyone else. So with this sort of question, you can't go for 2 big names in it. I'm going to go for one person I'd like to meet. So I'm going to go for Bruce Springsteen. And the other 2 celebrities I'll go for are Jack May and Stevie White, just because then I can talk to Bruce Springsteen, they can talk to each other. Do they count? Stevie doesn't count. Tom Whitefield asks, favourite genre of cheese? Good use of the word genre to describe cheese. I don't like cheese that isn't melted. So I will go for a melted cheese, really, like on a toasty or a pizza, something like that. Absolutely fine, but I don't like eating raw lumps of cheese. Out of all the cheeses, I'm going to go for Gruyere from Switzerland. Rian Kelly asks, did you learn anything that you've used in your life in uni or was it a waste of time? I studied economics at university with no intention of using an economics degree for work purposes. I didn't want to work in finance or banking or anything like that. So I just went to university because at the time it didn't cost any money to go to university, as I think it should be. In fact, I got a grant to go. But I did learn a lot out of studying about life, and it helps you sort of grow up a lot. I think organising and cultivating communities is something I learned quite well there through various things, just by getting stuck in and being sort of the group organisers. I think I learned quite a lot of that that's beneficial now doing YouTube and my day production company job. Ben Garbett says, hello Robbie, what's your ultimate goal with YouTube? Thanks for constantly reminding me to put the bins out. Good question, Ben. I think a lot of people with these things chase numbers or something like that. I would like the freedom of it. I think when you get to a certain level of YouTube where you can generate an income from it that will sustain you, it means you can sort of do whatever you want. I like the idea that I could go and do videos from Spain in the summer holidays with the kids if I wanted to, or something like that, or I could travel or be independent of location and still make content and stuff like that. So the freedom, I think, is what attracts me to it. I think you're better off designing your lifestyle and then doing things that help you achieve the lifestyle you want, rather than something like subscribers or an amount of money or something like that that doesn't really mean anything. NDL Josh says, when are you opening a fast food chain that sells Spanish fatties and bin day IPAs? The fatties are not on sale at the minute. Quite a lot of effort goes into a fatty, still refining my fatty technique. However, bin day IPA, I'm hoping to get on sale at some point this year to actually make a batch of it, because the new version is genuinely brilliant. And I've talked down a lot of stuff I do, but I think it's absolutely class. I've given it to quite a few people to taste, and they all think it's brilliant. So Bin Day IPA, I want to get out at some point this year. In the meantime, I've got a collaboration beer coming out at some point in the near future. Details to follow in the next few weeks. That'll come out before Bin Day IPA. Callum says, what nationality would you choose if you could be any other than British? Great question, Callum. Really good question. I lived in Canada for a bit. I like Canadians, but I think I'd like someone in the EU. I quite like freedom of movement and all that sort of stuff. So I think I'm going to go with Spain. I've spent quite a lot of time in Barcelona. It's good food. I like tapas. I like food where you don't have to commit to one individual food. You can go, I'll have lots of different foods rather than going, I'm going to have this meal, which seems a bit too big a decision for me. So I'm going to go for Spain for that reason. And also because I'm quite good at afternoon naps, and the siestas are great. I think I'd fit in well. I think I'd be a great Spaniard. Let me in Spain. Charlie is a massive baggy, says, want to go for a couple of beers soon, Robbie? Big Charlie. Depends where you live, Charlie, but I promise you, if you ever see me out and about and I'm not in the middle of something, say, hey, Robbie, I'm Charlie. Give me some kind of evidence. We'll go for a drink. David Page asks, will there ever be a greater car than the 2008 Vauxhall Vectra Estate? Look, it's a classic car. We all accept that. I'm beginning to think, well, actually, I said a couple of years ago when I hit a deer that the car was on its way out, but it's just carried on. It's gone from strength to strength, if anything. But I think really we're probably in the last year or two of the Vauxhall Vectra. So I don't know what to go for then. I'll have to have a little think. Another extreme power car like the one I've got, I imagine. Don't know what to do with the Vectra. They might give it away to a lucky viewer, like a low-rent David Dobrik. Henry Kravitz says, worst job ever had. I like that, Henry. You didn't bother constructing a full sentence. Just wanted to get your question out there. Shows real determination from Henry. Worst job I've ever had, I did, when I lived in Vancouver, I did telesales for a bit. And I was like selling newspaper subscriptions. And it was horrible because you're just phoning up people. I did all right at it because I had a British accent and I think there was some kind of novelty to it. But it's quite miserable because you've just got, people say they don't want to talk to you and you've just got to keep talking to them if you want to be good at it. I didn't really like that, so I just left. Went to Mexico for a bit to hang out there. Rebecca says, what things would you recommend doing in your 20s? I always love your stories and realised during the pandemic I wasn't really taking chances to get experiences. Any tips? Hard during a pandemic to do much stuff. I'd say having kids, if you intend to have kids in the future, I think is brilliant, but it does restrict some of the things you can do. And I remember, not so much when you first have kids, but when they go to school, I remember the first day my daughter went to school, I was like, oh, I can't do what I want. Because even though I've got to keep a child alive, I could take the child with me if I wanted to go somewhere before, but I have to be within commuting distance of their school for most of the year now. So I think travel is something I definitely recommend people do in their 20s. Just have fun, do stuff, learn what you're into, what you like. Don't just do things for the sake of it. Just try and get as much stuff in, keep in touch with friends, make mistakes, have adventures. Because you've got less, take risks, you've got less financial commitments and stuff like that. So it doesn't matter if you run out of money to a degree. I mean, to a degree. But yeah, take risks, have adventures, travel. Mark Goatbridge says, who is the best guest to go on a walk with? Good question. They've all been great. There's been none I haven't enjoyed. I'm going to pick, I mean, some people I knew already, so I'm going to discount them. Out of new people I've met, let's go for Bambino Becky, just because we got drunk together and had a brilliant time. Honourable mentions to lots of others who were lovely, like Cam Kirkham and Max Fosh, Kieran Carlin, loads of people. Other people I've not mentioned. Mark Goldbridge, brilliant. Jack says, worst, most awkward ever celebrity interaction. I'll go for most awkward. We were doing some filming at a Paddy McGuinness stand-up gig at Hammersmith Apollo, I think it was, when I was at Soccer AM. And we filmed a little bit beforehand on stage. And then afterwards, we just hung around, watched the gig. And we were in the sort of, I can't know if it was a green room or a dressing room or whatever it was afterwards. And Robbie Williams came in. and he sort of came over. There weren't many people there. He came over and started chatting to us, and then sort of said hi. And I said, "Oh, hello, Robbie." And then but his name's Robbie as well. So I was saying my name's Robbie. I went, "Hello, Robbie." I went, "I'm Robbie." "Oh, you're Robbie too." I just said Robbie too much in a sentence. It didn't go brilliantly. Tommy says, "Did you think you would ever make it to 100,000, a million next?" Yeah, probably eventually, but not necessarily this quickly. But I think if you do anything and stick at it, you'll see progress eventually. So once I saw that some people were interested, I knew that if you just get to more people will be interested and keep going. So who knows what will happen in the future. But yeah, I thought I'd get to 100,000 at some point, but I was looking 5-10 year timescale. Marcus Neal says, "Would you join the Sidemen if you're invited, but you never get to record Happy Hour again?" No. I don't really want to be in the Sidemen particularly. I don't know them. I'm sure they're nice. I don't think I'd want to be that famous. No, I'm happy with Happy Hour. Ash says, "How long will it take for you to be a permanent co-host of Jaacks Happy Hour?" I am. I think, unless you've heard differently. I am. Yeah, I am. I don't do the guest episodes because there's no need for another person in the studio for that. But I do all the others, really. Jack C says, "What's the meaning of life, Robbie?" Making yourself happy and chasing happiness. I think that's the easy bit. I think the hard bit is finding out what makes you happy. But probably being nice to other people will make you happy, and being a good person. So things like that, and doing things and not having regrets. So yeah, being happy, I think, is the meaning of life. Andy says, "I'd love to know what led up to you being part of Soccer AM and how the experience of working there was. Cheers, Robbie." I was working at a TV studio in London, just like making dressing rooms nice and sitting on reception, doing sort of menial tasks like that. And then Dan Trelfer, who is now a YouTuber, I'll put his thing up there or something, he got me, he knew I watched Soccer AM and he knew they were looking for someone to work there. So I just sent a CV off, got an interview. They gave the job to someone else, but he couldn't start in time. So then I got the job. And as for experience working there, brilliant, really good time. I learned so much and was really proud of what the show was and how good it was, and what an impact it had on football at the time. So yeah, it was a really good thing. It was hard work, but it was a brilliant job to do at that stage in my life. The Wagner says, "Do you actually enjoy streaming? Because we all love watching." Cheers, the Wagner. Yeah, so if you don't know, I stream Football Manager on Twitch most days. Robbie Knox FC, I think, is the name I picked. Did that, then totally forgot Spencer FC's of things. Just sounds like I copied him. But Robbie Knox was taken. So yeah, I really do enjoy doing it. It's such a lovely group of people, and I love chatting with everyone every day and getting to know everyone. Come on, you hedgemen. Luther's Volvo says, "Why is a building called a building despite the fact it's finished?" Ask me. Ask my brother, he's an expert. Knox study, TikTok superstar. Lewis says, "What's the best advice you've ever been given?" Not from a person, really, but I've read a few like sort of self-help books, personal development books over the time. And I think the best advice that I've really had is sort of taking responsibility for where you are in life. So if something happens, you're the only one who can sort it out, really. You're the only one who's responsible for sorting it out, so it should say. So I think once you decide that you're going to make yourself happy, or you're going to do this, and you're the only one who can control things, it frees you up in life massively. So that's the best advice I've had. Scar says, "If you were to meet one person, dead or alive, who would it be?" Alive, I think. Tom Wyatt says, "Favourite pub in Norwich?" Great question. The Murderers is obviously the correct answer, but there's loads of good pubs in Norwich. Famous for it, isn't it? Unfake Arms is brilliant. Fat Cat. Used to like the Reindeer back in the day. Bellevue, Garden House. Loads of good stuff. Callum says, "Is YouTube a more enjoyable job than the work you did at Soccer AM? What are you most proud of?" They're both enjoyable in different ways, I think. As for most proud of, probably equal, I'd say. I don't know. Soccer M's good because it was such a big thing at the time, but this is something I've made on my own, if you will. So, I don't know, both are good. Ryan says, favourite place to go skiing? Somewhere new. It's generally, I like going to new places, I like exploring mountains, I like eating new food, I like going to new bars. The next place I go skiing will be my favourite place to go skiing. And also Whistler, which is amazing. Chris X Keating says, why? Why not? Canary says, do you earn more with more and more followers? You talk about YouTube. So YouTube pays you in quite a sort of complicated way. So there's YouTube ad revenue is a sort of thing that people think of, I think, when they think of money for YouTubers. And that's when people watch adverts, for every 1,000 people, they pay you a certain amount of money. And it varies massively depending on the type of thing you do. For example, when I do skiing videos, around sort of Christmas time, the RPM, the revenue per meal, is quite high because people want to advertise against skiing because it's quite an expensive thing. So ski companies will pay a bit to try and get people to go for their ski holidays. So things like that are quite good. On the other hand, if you make a video called Jack Mate Had Sex with a Horse, even though you get 100,000 views, you probably only make a couple of quid. So it varies a lot depending on what sort of thing you're making. And it's more watch time and views. It's basically how many adverts they can show people, essentially, and on what topics the videos are about that determine it more than a number. That said, if you've got more subscribers, then it's an easier sell when you're doing brand deals and stuff like that to have bigger numbers. So, Cara says, have you ever thought of keeping chickens? Yes, Cara, I wanted to keep chickens. We moved to this house. My wife wasn't having it, so I let it go. And then other people we know have got chickens, and now she's going, oh, we should get chickens. I'm like... Lauren Gleason says, how do you always keep life so interesting? You always have a fun story or situation to tell, and I want to live my life like that. Good, Lauren, good. I'm glad to be such an inspiration for you. Just do stuff. Do something. Because I mean, I've got a lot of stories from Soccer Aim that are specific to that job or that sort of thing, but equally, if you're having adventures and doing things, then you have loads of stories. I remember I went on a holiday just before I met my wife, actually, with my friends Sally and Speedo. We went on a road trip across the States from Boston to New Orleans. And we were out for 23 days, I think it was. And the number of stories we've got just from that 3 and a bit weeks is unreal. We got stuck in a hurricane. We went to Live 8. We went to a gun range, had adventures there. We met some mental people. Some guy offered to bring a crocodile into a bar to show us. So there's a lot of stuff that happens when you just go out and do stuff. So go and do things, particularly while you're young and you've got opportunities. Just do as much as you can. Get your friends to go places, talk to people, have adventures. Jack OGW says, what were your first impressions of Jack? I presume he's talking about Jack Mate and not himself. I met him, I think I was just really interested because I don't think I'd met a YouTuber before. Had I? Maybe I probably would have met some YouTubers, but not really, not very much, not in a situation where I was able to ask them lots of questions. So I think I just asked him lots of questions about YouTube. Probably looked a bit mental. I was interested in him more than paying attention to him. I was like, ooh, what an interesting man. Jade Muir over on Instagram says, top 3 cities you would like to visit or have visited. Okay, assuming we're not including Norwich, which is the best city in the world. Top 3 cities I have visited. Let's go for Vancouver, New York and Barcelona. 3 that I would love to visit but haven't yet. Let's go for LA. I've sort of visited but not properly, so let's put that on the list. Montreal, I'd love to spend some time there. Oh, and I want to go to Calgary for the Stampede. I picked all North American ones there, haven't I? It's dull of me. Billy Madam says, with restrictions easing, will we see more Robbie and Dan explain? I do hope so, yeah. I'd love to do some more now that we're allowed to go out and do stuff. If you don't know what we're talking about, we'll have a look at that thing. It's a series I do. Liam Ayrton Davies says, are you a gin man, Robbie? Yeah, I mean, look, didn't know that question was on there. In front of my gin bar. A few other things I've got on the edge of the gin bar. Baileys from Christmas. But generally, that's reserved for gins only. Yeah, I love gin. William Scott, do you have a favourite soup? Great question. Great question. Leek and potatoes good. Possibly like a smoked haddock chowder, maybe, if we're allowing chowders. Luca Mitchell says, hello, Robbie. What's the best gift you've ever received? I think it's the meaning of stuff. I remember when I lived in Canada, my housemate Jack, neither of us had much money, and I really liked the song All Star by Smash Mouth. And it wasn't my birthday or anything. And as I say, none of us had much money, but he just bought me the album because he knew I liked it for no reason. And that was nice because it was a present for no reason. Although that does sound a bit weird saying Smash Mouth by All Star by Smash Mouth is the best present I've ever got, but for that reason, it was lovely. Chris Hazel says, how do you feel about being somewhat old as a YouTuber influencer? It's all right. Can't really control it. It's quite good for giving you differentiation, I guess, and also it means I think I'm probably a bit more prepared for some of the things that come with it than other people might do if they're a bit younger. So I think it's absolutely fine. I remember someone, when I first started working, said to me, never make age your thing. So never be the young guy. Like, you can't control how old you are, but never make it like, oh, I'm really young, something like that, because you won't be forever. So you can't make that your thing. Joe Higgins says, best place for a first-time skier? I think they're all, look for somewhere that's got good beginner's slopes. There's plenty of options. Where I went to Bulgaria, Borovets in Bulgaria is good because it's cheap, and if you've never done it before, you can learn quite easily. But there's a lot of the big resorts just are good in the Alps. There's so many good places to go there. Prete says, best beach in Norfolk? Good niche question. I like this. I like Bacton. Go to Bacton quite a bit. It's not as busy as a lot of them. Nice sand. Yeah, beautiful. Tom says, should you always follow your gut feeling, or in life do you need to take risks? Good question. I think you should follow your gut feeling and take risks a lot of the time. So yeah, it depends what your gut's telling you, I guess. But sometimes you'll know there'll be something that you want to do, but you're a bit scared. I think then you should push on and just do the scary thing. Just do stuff. Tom Brownlee says, any ski trips planned? Yeah, going to Morzine in France in like early January if COVID allows. So anyone there? See you on the slopes. Ollivander says, name a concept or fact that blows your mind. Okay, I've got my phone here because I want to get the figures accurate for this. Blows my mind. John Tyler was President of the United States. He was born in 1790. That's 1 year after George Washington was sworn in as president. He has a grandson still alive today. And he had two grandsons up until quite recently. One of them recently died. But he was born in 1790 and he has a grandson alive today. That is mental. Look it up. It's true. President John Tyler. Emily says Aquaman or Thor. I don't really know. I've never watched any of them films. I know the guy who is Aquaman and he's like hot. So let's pick that. I say I know him. I mean, I know who he is. I'm not like mates with Aquaman. Greg Ferguson says, what's your favourite video you've ever made or been a part of? It would be one of the skiing videos I've done, either the Whistler or the Telluride trips, because I put a lot of effort into them. So I'm filming it for a week while I'm on holiday, and then it's probably about a week to edit and do the graphics and everything like that. It takes quite a long time. But I think they're brilliant. I think they're as good as any travel vlogs on the internet. And I think they're quite watchable. So I'm really proud of those. I only put that much effort into them because I want some ski resorts to give me free ski holidays in the future. So if you're a ski resort watching, or a ski PR company or something, give me a free holiday and I'll make a mega video. Molly says, how do you think of your children's names? They're so cute. I was just going through lots of names. I think Kitty, we were both pretty solid on together. We both really liked that. Otto, I think it was a bit harder to find a name then. But I got into Arlo. My wife really wanted Arlo as a name. I wanted to call him Horace after Horace Goes Skiing, the 1980s computer game. But I let my wife choose because I kind of made her have a third child. So when I say I made her, like with words and persuasion, just to be clear. Rosanna says, will you be filming any more walking videos anytime soon, as I do enjoy watching them and miss seeing them? Yes, Rosanna. Yeah, I will, 100%. Lots of people have said they'll do it. The problem has been, like, for the last week, every day the forecast has been rain. Over the next 2 weeks, the forecast is constantly rain. So it's finding a time to do them. But certainly, like, Chi with the Sea, Spencer FC, Elbat, and others have all said they'd do it. So yeah, they will be back soon. It's just trying to get days to do them. Mickey Niner says, if you go back and relive your life, would you change anything? Not anything major. No, the only one regret I've got in life is when I lived in Vancouver, I was working in a gas station, which is what North Americans call a petrol station. And I used to have to walk down Davy Street and get a bus from Granville Street to where I lived. And I had about enough time when I left work to walk down, and the bus would always be waiting there. I'd get on the bus and I'd have about 5 minutes till it goes. And this is like the middle of downtown Vancouver. There's no fields for miles at midnight. And I remember going down there, and just as I got on the bus, I passed a bloke who was just stood there with a donkey on a lead in the middle of downtown Vancouver. And it was a quite rough, probably not the word, but it was a quite sort of gritty road sort of thing. There was like a lot of homeless guys and stuff like that. And this bloke just had a donkey there. And I thought, as I got on the bus, I thought, I wonder why he got a donkey. And I'll never know now. And I think about that a lot. John Fitzpatrick says, in your opinion, which city in Europe has the best nightlife? Ooh, London's good. Barcelona, Berlin. Amsterdam's fun. Barcelona, I think. I love Barcelona. It's so good. Liam Shaw says, have you ever been to Glastonbury Festival? Yeah, about maybe 5 times, maybe. In my 20s, generally. Can't remember what years it was. 2000s mostly, 2000s, early 2010s. Yeah, love it. It's one of the best places in the world, isn't it? Great. Retro Alarm says, King Edward or Maris Piper? Great potato question. It depends obviously on what you're making. King Edward's my king for roast potatoes, I think, or things like that. Maris Piper's a little bit more versatile though, isn't it? You get away with that in a mash, which you couldn't really with the King Edward. So I think Maris Piper's a bit too covering all bases. I like the honest roasting determination of a King Edward. And finally, Made Up Name says, that's a nice t-shirt, Robbie. Where can I buy one? Funny you should ask. This is from RobbieKnoxMerch.com. Just have a new delivery of them in now. So plenty of those available for you if you want to, in a variety of sizes as well. So get over there and pick one up. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for all your subscribing and everything over the past, I don't know, how many years is it? 2, 3 years? Don't know. Can't remember anymore. I'm really enjoying YouTube, and it means a lot to me that people can be bothered to watch this. So I'll keep making videos as long as anyone can be asked to click like and all that. So yeah, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Back with another video soon, and probably do another Q&A around 200k if we get there. Cheers.